Two bored male casino dealers are waiting at the craps table. A very attractive blonde woman arrives and bets $20,000 on a single roll of the dice. She says, "I hope you don't mind, but I feel much luckier when I'm completely nude." With that, she strips down, rolls the dice, and yells, "Come on, baby, Mama needs new clothes." As the dice come to a stop, she jumps up and down and squeals, "Yes, yes, I won, I won." She hugs each of the dealers, picks up her winnings and her clothes, and quickly departs. The dealers stare at each other dumbfounded. Finally, one of them asks, "What did she roll?" The other answers, "I don't know. I thought you were watching." A man walked into a church and went to confession. "Father," he said, "I think I almost did something wrong." The priest asked gently, "What do you mean by almost?" "Well," the man said, "I was very close to making a bad choice. But I stopped myself just in time." The priest nodded. "Temptation is strong, my son. But remember, even getting too close to it can lead to trouble. Stay away from that situation." Then he added, "For your penance, say 5 prayers and put $50 in the poor box." The man agreed, said his prayers, and walked over to the donation box. He paused for a moment, then started walking away. The priest, watching from a distance, called out, "My son, I saw that you didn't put anything in the poor box." The man smiled and said, "Oh, don't worry, Father, I just pretended to, and according to your rule, that's almost the same thing, right?" A bus stops and 2 men get out. They sit down and engage in an animated conversation. The lady sitting next to them ignores them at first, but her attention is galvanized when she hears one of them say the following: "Emma comes first, then I come. Then 2 asses come together. I come once more. 2 asses, they come together again. I come again and pee twice. Then I come one last time." The lady can't take this anymore. "You foul-mouthed, sex-obsessed pig," she retorted indignantly. "In this country, we don't speak aloud in public places about our sex lives." "Hey, cool down, lady," said the man. "Who's talking about sex? I'm just telling my friend how to spell Mississippi." "I went into a Chinese takeaway last night. The owner of the shop said, 'What do you do for riving?' I said, 'What do I do for a living? I'm a bit of a comedian.' So the Chinese chap says, 'Go on then, change color.' I said, 'No, I'm not a chameleon, I'm a comedian.' So then he says, 'Oh, tell me a joke, make me laugh.' I said, 'You want me to tell you a joke and make you laugh?' Just then his work caught fire, so I said, 'Walk, walk.' And he said, 'Who there?' Husband always insisted on making love in the dark. After 20 years, his wife turns on the light and finds him holding a vibrator. She goes ballistic. 'You impotent b****. How could you lie to me all these years?' Husband looks her straight in the eyes and calmly says, 'I'll explain the toy, you explain the kids.'" A lady hired a handyman and gave him a list of 6 jobs she wanted done. She left and came back in the evening as the handyman was finishing up. She looked around and did not see all 6 jobs finished. "On my list, sir, you only did numbers 1, 3, and 5. Why did you not do all 6 jobs?" He said, "Lady, I told you I only do odd jobs." A man walked into this produce section of his local supermarket and asked to buy half a head of cabbage. The boy working in that department told him that they only sold whole heads of cabbage. The man was insistent that the boy ask the manager about the matter. Walking into the back room, the boy said to the manager, "Some old fart outside wants to buy half a head of cabbage." As he finished his sentence, he turned around to find that the man had followed and was standing right behind him. "So," the boy quickly added, "and this gentleman kindly offered to buy the other half." The manager approved the deal, and the man went on his way. Later, the manager said to the boy, "I was impressed with the way you got yourself out of that situation earlier. We like people who can think on their feet here." Where are you from, son? Russia, sir, the boy replied. Why did you leave Russia? The manager asked. The boy said, Sir, there's nothing but prostitutes and ice hockey players in Russia. Letter from an Irish mother to her son. Dear son, just a few lines to let you know I'm still alive. I'm writing this letter slowly because I know you can't read fast. We are all doing very well. You won't recognize the house when you get home. We have moved. Your dad read in the newspaper that most accidents happen within 20 miles from your home, so we moved. I won't be able to send you the address because the last Irish family that lived here took the house numbers when they moved so that they wouldn't have to change their address. This place is really nice. It even has a washing machine. I'm not sure it works so well, though. Last week I put a load in and pulled the chain and haven't seen them since. Your father's got a really good job now. He's got 500 men under him. He's cutting the grass at the cemetery. Your sister Mary had a baby this morning, but I haven't found out if it's a boy or a girl, so I don't know whether you are an auntie or an uncle. Your brother Tom is still in the army. He's only been there a short while, and they've already made him a court-martial. Your Uncle Patrick drowned last week in a vat of whiskey in the Dublin brewery. Some of his workmates tried to save him, but he fought them off bravely. They cremated him, and it took 3 days to put out the fire. I'm sorry to say that your cousin Seamus was arrested while riding his bicycle last week. They are charging him with dope peddling. I went to the doctor on Thursday, and your father went with me. The doctor put a small tube in my mouth and told me not to talk for 10 minutes. Your father offered to buy it from him. The weather isn't bad here. It only rained twice this week, first for 3 days and then for 4 days. Monday was so windy, one of the chickens laid the same egg 4 times. We had a letter from the undertaker. He said if the last payment on your grandmother's plot isn't paid in 7 days, up she comes. About that coat you wanted me to send you. Your Uncle Stanley said it would be too heavy to send in the mail with the buttons on, so we cut them off and put them in the pockets. John locked his keys in the car yesterday. We were really worried because it took him 2 hours to get me and your father out. 3 of your friends went off a bridge in a pickup truck Ralph was driving. He rolled down the window and swam to safety. Your other 2 friends were in back. They drowned because they couldn't get the tailgate down. There isn't much more news at this time. Nothing much has happened. Your loving Mom. P.S. I was going to send you some money, but I had already sealed the envelope. Your loving Mammy. Letter to husband. My darling husband. Before you return from your business trip, I just want to let you know about the small accident I had with the pickup truck when I turned into the driveway. Fortunately, it's not too bad, and I really didn't get hurt, so please don't worry too much about me. I was coming home from Walmart, and when I turned into the driveway, I accidentally pushed down on the accelerator instead of the brake. The garage door is slightly bent, but fortunately the pickup came to a halt when it bumped into your car. I am really sorry, but I know with your kind-hearted personality you will forgive me. You know how much I love you and care for you, my sweetheart. I am enclosing a picture of the damage for you. I cannot wait to hold you in my arms again, your loving wife. One day, in the middle of a quiet class, Tommy, the biggest guy in school, felt a little rumble in his belly. He tried to hold it in, but it was no use. With a loud "Pert!" the whole class froze. It was like a thunderstorm had rolled through. The smell was so bad, it could have knocked out a herd of elephants. The students began backing away, holding their noses, and then, one by one, they ran out of the classroom, coughing and gagging. The teacher, not missing a beat, looked at Tommy and said, "Well, Tommy, I guess you really blasted the competition out of the room." Tommy, wiping his brow, shrugged and said, "I didn't mean to, but hey, at least I'm blowing away the competition." 2 old guys are pushing their carts around Walmart when they collide. The first old guy says to the second guy, "Sorry about that. I'm looking for my wife, and I guess I wasn't paying attention to where I was going." The second old guy says, "That's okay. It's a coincidence. I'm looking for my wife, too. I can't find her, and I'm getting a little desperate." The first says, "Well, maybe we can help each other. What does your wife look like?" The second old guy says, "Well, she is 27 years old, tall, with red hair, blue eyes, long legs, and big busted, and she is wearing short shorts. What does your wife look like?" The first old guy says, "Doesn't matter. Let's look for yours." During my job interview yesterday, the interviewer asked, "Why do you think I should give you this job?" I replied, "Because my best friend Davis works in your IT department, and he told me you're having an affair with your secretary." A middle-aged man sat with his elderly father, reminiscing. "Dad, I just wanted to thank you. When I was younger and just starting to date, you gave me some advice. You told me, good companion, good in bed, good mother, pick two." His father gave him a gentle nod, listening. "Well," the son continued, "I feel like I've built a great life. My wife is wonderful to me and an amazing mother to our 3 kids." His father smiled knowingly and replied, "That's great, son, but when I said pick two, I meant the second one." Husband: "Where are you?" Wife: "At home. Love." Husband: "Are you sure?" Wife: "Yes." Husband: "Please turn on the microwave." Wife turns on the microwave. Dree, dree. Husband: "Okay, love, goodbye." Another day. Husband: "Where are you?" Wife: "At home." Love. Husband: "Are you sure?" Wife: "Yes." Husband: "Turn on the microwave." Wife turns on the microwave. Dree, dree. Husband: "Okay, love, goodbye." Another day. Suspicious husband: "Where are you?" Wife: "At home." Love. Husband: "Are you sure?" Wife: "Yes." Husband: "Turn on the microwave." Wife turns on the microwave. Dree, dree. Husband: "Okay, my love. Goodbye." The next day, the husband decides to call on his son's phone and he asks him, "Son, where is your mother?" Son: "I don't know. She went out with the microwave 3 days ago." 3 engineers and 3 accountants are heading to a conference by train. At the station, the accountants each buy a ticket, while the engineers only purchase one. "How are 3 people going to travel on one ticket?" an accountant asks. "Watch and learn," an engineer replies. They all board the train, and while the accountants take their seats, the engineers squeeze into a restroom and shut the door. As the conductor makes his rounds, he knocks on the restroom door. "Tickets, please." The door opens just a crack. A single hand slips out holding the ticket, and the conductor moves on. The accountants are impressed. "Brilliant. We should try that on the way back." After the conference, the accountants decide to use the trick themselves. They buy just one ticket, but to their surprise, the engineers don't buy any. "Wait, how are you going to travel with no ticket?" one accountant asks. "Watch and learn," an engineer smirks. Once on board, the accountants cram into one restroom, and the engineers pile into another nearby. The train departs. A moment later, one engineer sneaks over to the accountant's restroom, knocks on the door, and says, "Tickets, please." A couple rushed into town hall just as it was about to close and caught a judge on his way out. Breathless, they asked if he could marry them. "Do you have a license?" the judge asked. When they admitted they didn't, he sent them to the town clerk. They managed to catch the clerk just as he was locking up and quickly secured a license. Back at the judge's office, he examined the document and frowned. "You filled in your names backwards, his where hers should be, and vice versa." Flustered, they ran back to the clerk, who issued them a corrected license. But when they returned, the judge noticed another problem. The date is in the wrong format. Once again, they sprinted back to the clerk. This back and forth continued through 5 revisions, until, at last, the judge was satisfied. I hope you understand why I made you keep going back, he said. If the license contains errors, your marriage wouldn't be legally valid, and any children you might have would be considered technical bastards. The groom sighed. That's funny. That's exactly what the clerk called you. The visiting church school supervisor asks little Johnny during Bible class, who broke down the walls of Jericho? Little Johnny responds, I don't know, but it definitely wasn't me. Shocked by this lack of basic Bible knowledge, the supervisor rushes to the principal and shares the whole incident. The principal, calm as ever, replies, I know little Johnny and his whole family well. If Johnny says he didn't do it, then I trust him. That's the truth as far as I'm concerned. Still baffled, the supervisor goes to the regional head of education and recounts the whole story. After listening, the regional head calmly says, I don't see why you're making such a big deal out of this. Just get 3 quotes and get the darn wall fixed. A man stumbles upon a lost wallet containing $700. A few days later, he notices a public notice. A wealthy man has lost his wallet and is offering a $50 reward for its return. Wanting to do the right thing, the man tracks down the owner and hands over the wallet. The rich man takes it, counts the money, and immediately frowns. I see you've already taken your reward, he says. What are you talking about? The poor man asks, confused. This wallet had $750 in it when I lost it. An argument breaks out, and soon enough they find themselves in court. Each man states his case. The wealthy man finishes with a confident, Your Honor, surely you believe me. The judge nods. Of course. The rich man grins smugly while the poor man looks crushed until the judge suddenly takes the wallet and hands it to him. Wait, what are you doing? The rich man protests. The judge calmly explains, You are without a doubt an honest man. If you say your wallet had $750 in it, I believe you. But if this other man was a liar and a thief, he wouldn't have returned the wallet at all. So clearly, this must belong to someone else. If the rightful owner comes forward, they'll get the money. Otherwise, it stays with the man who found it. The rich man is furious. But what about my money? The judge shrugs. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait until someone finds your wallet with the $750 in it. 2 ladies were working on a house. One of them was nailing down siding. She'd reach into her nail pouch, pull out a nail, and either hammer it in or toss it over her shoulder. The other lady, curious, finally asked, Why do you keep throwing some of those nails away? The first one replied, Well, if I pull out a nail and it's pointed toward me, I toss it. Obviously, it's defective, but if it's pointed toward the house, I nail it in. The second lady smacked her forehead and shouted, You idiot! The ones pointed toward you aren't defective. They're for the other side of the house. A young pastor sat in a restaurant enjoying his lunch. As he ate, he opened a letter from his mother, which had arrived that morning. When he unfolded it, a $20 bill fluttered onto the table. Thanks, Mom, he thought. I really needed this right now. As he finished his meal, he noticed a beggar leaning against a lamppost outside. The man looked down on his luck, and the pastor felt a tug at his heart. He hesitated for a moment, then made a decision. Pulling the envelope back out, he crossed out the names and in large letters wrote, Persevere. Without drawing attention to himself, he tucked the bill back inside, placed the envelope under his arm, and casually dropped it as he walked past the man. The beggar picked it up, read the message, and smiled. The next day, as the pastor sat down for another meal, he felt a tap on his shoulder. Turning, he saw the same man, grinning and holding out a thick wad of cash. Bewildered, the pastor asked, What's this? The man chuckled, Your half of the winnings. Persevere came in first in the 4th race at the track yesterday, paid 30-1. A firefighter is working on the engine outside the station when he notices a little girl next door in a little red wagon with little ladders hung off the sides and a garden hose tightly coiled in the middle. The girl is wearing a firefighter's helmet. The wagon is being pulled by her dog and her cat. The firefighter walked over to take a closer look. "That sure is a nice fire truck," the firefighter says with admiration. "Thanks," the girl says. The firefighter looks a little closer and notices the girl has tied the wagon to her dog's collar and also to the cat's testicles. "Little partner," the firefighter says, "I don't want to tell you how to run your rig, but if you were to tie that rope around the cat's collar, I think you could go faster." The little girl replies thoughtfully, "You're probably right, but then I wouldn't have a siren." Two nuns are having a whispered conversation. During Mass. Sister Enid: "You've been praying rather fervently of late. Is anything the matter?" Sister Agatha: "Yes, I've developed an embarrassing medical condition." Sister Enid: "What sort of condition?" Sister Agatha: "Well, every time I sneeze, I have a mind-blowing orgasm." Sister Enid: "Oh dear. Are you taking anything for it?" Sister Agatha: "Yes, a pinch of snuff 3 times a day." A woman sends her husband to the market to sell a goat. After selling it, he stopped by the blacksmith and bought a vise and a basket. He put the vise in the basket and headed home. On his way back, he saw a merchant selling livestock. Having leftover money, he decided to buy a duck as well. The merchant tells him, "Listen, mister, I only have these 2 chickens left for the day as well. I'm giving them to you for free so we can both go home. Okay?" Obviously, a great deal. Our mister takes them and heads towards the village. On his way back, he sees a nun. She asks him, "Kind mister, I am trying to get to the local monastery, but I do not know the way. Can you please help me?" Always eager to help, our mister explains that the monastery is very close, just over a ridge, and offers the nun to walk with her there. Blushing a bit, she says, "I am not very sure about this. I am afraid that on the way there you might decide to take advantage of me." Laughing, the guy says, "How do you see this happening? Don't you see how overburdened I am? I am carrying a vise, a duck, and 2 chickens. There is no way I can keep these and do that." "Oh, but there is a way. You can always put the duck on the ground, cover it with the basket, and put the vise on top to make sure it doesn't run away." "Yes, but what about the 2 chickens?" says the guy, laughing again. "Oh, don't worry about the chickens. I can hold them for you." It was 3 a.m. when a loud, relentless pounding on the front door yanked a man and his wife from their peaceful slumber. The man groaned, rubbing his eyes, and stumbled out of bed, grumbling under his breath about inconsiderate people and ungodly hours. He cracked the door open and was immediately greeted by a drunken stranger, swaying in the pouring rain, his clothes drenched like a lost puppy. The man blinked. "Hey, buddy," the drunk slurred, giving an unconvincing attempt at a friendly wave. "Could you give me a push?" The man scowled. "Not a chance! It's 3 in the morning. Go find someone else." And with that, he slammed the door shut, shuffled back to bed, and pulled the covers over his head. "Who was it?" his wife murmured, barely awake. "Just some drunk guy wanting a push," he muttered. "Did you help him?" she asked. "No, it's raining, it's late, and I'm not about to play Good Samaritan right now." His wife huffed and sat up. "Wow, you have a short memory, don't you?" He peeked out from under the covers, confused. 3 months ago, we broke down in the middle of nowhere, and 2 kind strangers helped push our car. Remember how grateful we were? What if those men had refused to help us?" The husband groaned. He hated when she was right. Muttering a string of complaints, he pulled on his jacket and trudged out into the rain. Through the darkness, he called out, "Hello, you still there?" A voice answered, "Yeah." "Do you still need a push?" "Yes, please," the man sighed. "All right, where are you?" "Over here," the voice slurred. The husband squinted through the rain, trying to locate him. "Where exactly?" On the swing. There was a long silence. The man closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and resisted the urge to throw the nearest object. Somewhere in the distance, his wife was definitely laughing. A couple preparing for their wedding meet the man for counseling. He asks if they have any last questions before they leave. The man asks, "We realize it's a tradition for men to dance with men and women to dance with women. But at our wedding reception, we'd like your permission to dance together." "Absolutely not," says the counselor. "It's immoral. Men and women always dance separately." "So after the ceremony, I can't even dance with my own wife?" "No," answered the counselor. "It's forbidden in our religion." "Well, okay," says the man. "What about sex? Can we finally have sex?" "Of course," replies the counselor. "Sex is okay within marriage, to have children." "What about different positions?" asks the man. "No problem," says the counselor. "Woman on top?" "Sure," says the counselor. "Go for it." "Woman below?" "Sure, that's normal." "On the kitchen table?" "Yes, yes." "Can we do it with all my 4 wives together on rubber sheets with a bottle of hot oil, a couple of vibrators, leather harnesses, a bucket of honey, a camel, and a goat?" "You may indeed. Can we do it standing up?" "No," says the counselor. "Why not?" asks the man. "It could lead to dancing." Cheers. Dolly Parton and Queen Elizabeth went to the pearly gates on the same day. They both met with an angel to find out if they would be admitted to heaven. The angel said, "Unfortunately, there's only one space in heaven today, so I must decide which one of you will be admitted." The angel asked Dolly if there was some particular reason why she should go to heaven. Dolly took off her top and said, "Look at these. They're the most perfect breasts God ever created, and I'm sure it will please God to be able to see them every day for eternity." The angel thanked Dolly and asked Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth, the same question. The Queen walked over to a toilet, pulled the lever, and flushed it without saying a word. The angel immediately said, "Okay, Your Majesty, you may go into heaven." Dolly was outraged and asked, "What was that all about? I showed you 2 of God's own perfect creations and you turned me down. She simply flushed a commode and she got admitted to heaven. Would you explain that to me?" "Sorry, Dolly," said the angel, "but even in heaven a royal flush beats a pair, no matter how big they are." A teacher told her young class to ask their parents for a family story with a moral at the end of it, and to return the next day to tell their stories. In the classroom the next day, Joe gave his example first. "My dad is a farmer, and we have chickens. One day we were taking lots of eggs to the market in a basket on the front seat of the truck. When we hit a big bump in the road, the basket fell off the seat and all the eggs broke." The moral of the story is not to put all your eggs in one basket. "Very good," said the teacher. Next, Mary said, "We are farmers, too. We had 20 eggs waiting to hatch, but when they did, we only got 10 chicks. The moral of this story is not to count your chickens before they're hatched." "Very good," said the teacher again, very pleased with the response so far. Next, it was Barney's turn to tell his story. "My dad told me this story about my Aunt Karen. Aunt Karen was a flight engineer in the war and her plane got hit. She had to bail out over enemy territory, and all she had was a bottle of whiskey, a machine gun, and a machete." "Go on," said the teacher, intrigued. "Aunt Karen drank the whiskey on the way down to prepare herself. Then she landed right in the middle of 100 enemy soldiers. She killed 70 of them with the machine gun until she ran out of bullets. Then she killed 20 more with the machete till the blade broke, and then she killed the last 10 with her bare hands." "Good heavens," said the horrified teacher. "What did your father say was the moral of that frightening story?" The child said, "Stay away from Aunt Karen when she's been drinking." 2 archaeologists were exploring a remote mountainous region when they came upon a huge rocky mass that resembled the statue of a sitting man. It was about 100 meters high and appeared to have accurate details right down to fingernails. "Looks real enough to talk to," said the first archaeologist, jokingly. "Let's try," said the second, and turning to the statue, said, "What's your name?" There was no reply, so he tried with, "How old are you?" Still no reply, so the second one asks, "What's the square root of 64?" For a moment, nothing happened. Then there was a loud rumbling. The ground started shaking, and slowly the statue rose to its feet, towering above the men. It put one hand on its chin, gazed into the distance for a few seconds, and then said, "8. "Aha," said the first archaeologist. "It only stands to reason." A man is selling berries from a stand on the street. One day, a woman walks up to the stand and asks the vendor, "Do you have tomatoes?" "I'm sorry, miss, but I only carry berries. I have these delicious blueberries picked fresh from the bush just this morning. Would you like to try some?" the vendor asked. "Oh, no thanks," the woman replies, and she walks away. The next day, the vendor is out selling berries once again, and the same lady comes up to his stand. "Do you have tomatoes?" she asks again. The vendor, somewhat perplexed, explains, "I'm sorry, miss, but as I said yesterday, I only sell berries. I don't have tomatoes, but I have these mouth-watering strawberries picked fresh just this morning. They're so sweet you'd think they were candy. You must try some." "Oh, no, thanks." The woman says it again and walks away, leaving the vendor upset. The next day, the lady comes back, and just as the vendor predicted, she asks again, and this continues for the next couple days, and each day, the vendor becomes more and more frustrated with the woman. The next time the lady shows up, she asks yet again, "Do you have tomatoes?" The vendor replies, "Look, lady, what word do you get when you take the word berry out of strawberry?" The woman thinks for a moment. "Straw." "Right. And what word do you get when you take the word berry out of blueberry?" Again she thinks and says, "Blue." Finally, the vendor asks, "What word do you get when you take the word out of tomatoes?" The woman looks confused and says, "There is no in tomatoes." The vendor says, "That's what I've been trying to tell you." A man and a woman had car trouble as they pulled into the Walmart parking lot. The man told his wife to go ahead and do the shopping, and he would try to fix the car. The wife finishes shopping after about 90 minutes and walks out to the parking lot. She sees a group of people gathered around the car. As she gets closer, she sees a pair of legs sticking out from under the car. As she walks up to the car, she sees a pair of shorts and immediately notices his lack of underwear. Now everyone can see that his private parts have become a very public display. The woman is immediately embarrassed and upset. She mumbles to herself, "I always tell that son of a to wear underwear and he never listens." The wife runs to the car and says, "Damn it, Fred. You never listen to me, and now you are giving everyone quite a show." She immediately puts her hand up his shorts so she can tuck everything back into place. She stands back up to tell the crowd to leave. As she stands up, she looks across the car and sees her husband on the opposite side. The woman is confused and immediately looks down and sees a greasy-haired mechanic smiling up at her. The mechanic says, "My name ain't Fred, but you won't owe me anything if you come back down here and do that again."